All right, the Reds Mondays, talking Reds after Liverpool made it 4 out of 4, top of the league, 12 points, conceded only 1 goal, better than any other side in the league apart from Manchester City at just stopping other sides having shots and that. And yet everyone's shitting their pants again. So what's all that about? So we'll get into that a little bit. I mean, obviously, the media have highlighted, as you would expect them to, no agenda chat here from me. They've highlighted the Alisson mistake. I'm sure he's well aware that he's made a mistake, but everyone's still talking about it anyway. And you know, Schmeichel's been out there talking about it. He says, I don't know Liverpool's style exactly, but I think they encourage the keepers to take chances to keep possession like Ederson does for City. When you do that, you have to accept mistakes are made sometimes, just as with outfield players. The only difference with goalkeepers is when you make an error, 9.5 times out of 10, it gets punished. Craig's done the agenda today, grass. So if it's mad as fuck, that's why. He's put a bothered, worried, cause for concern. Sounds like an advert for some shit medicine.
It was a bit rushed. Like I'll admit that now. It was a bit rushed. But why I was saying that was I searched Alisson, right, just to see what the sort of general wider media were saying about it, and TalkSport put this thing, and it's the most ridiculous article. It said Liverpool fans turn on Alisson, and I've not really seen that at all. I think his performances and how solid Liverpool have looked, the saves he's made, like he's saved every shot on target that he's faced aside from that one. He obviously makes a big mistake.
He nearly gets that.
I know.
He nearly gets back to save it.
And he said, there's some quotes from him. It was ESPN Brazil. He said, I'm angry that I made a mistake that put the team in a difficult position. One person makes a mistake, it affects everyone. Everyone fought back together. We have to improve, but the result is what matters at the moment. It was bad judgment. I made a mistake reading the play. I didn't get a very good pass, and we talked about that in the dressing room, and I spoke to Virgil. It wasn't a good pass, but I couldn't have kicked it long. I wanted to keep playing and keep the possession, and I think Schmeichel's right. It's one of these things where we can't celebrate having this like ball playing goalkeeper, and then whenever he makes a mistake, ask him to change his style of play. And the pass was poor, I thought.
Yeah, it was poor pass.
And I'm just from what we've seen
so far.
There's
a passage of play that leads to it that was just poor in general. I think Henderson plays a couple of passes to centre-halves that aren't the best, and then it all results in, you know, Virgil van Dijk plays a poor pass. But then he's still got time to put his boot to it 100%. There's still an opportunity there to do it, and he decides to lash in a Cruyff. I think it's his fault.
Yeah, no, it is, of course it's his fault, but he's owned up to it, and I thought what was interesting was sort of 3 times after that, every time the ball came to him, he went long with it. He didn't take any more chances.
It doesn't look like it's affected him, I think, is the big thing for me.
Exactly, no.
You know, he's not like, you didn't see his confidence completely crumble after making a mistake. His quotes that Craig's read out, I think, are spot on. And I think, you know, next game we see him in goal for Liverpool, he'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, we're not worried is what we're getting at, really.
Nah, I mean, you know, it's fine. And this idea that you're turning on, I mean, that's the worst type of journalism, by the way. I think it's so shit. And lots of them do it now. But it's the idea where they just basically go on Twitter post-match, find, say, 10 fans who have tweeted something remotely negative, and then write up a piece and say, Liverpool fans have turned on X. And it's like, nah, you just found 10 pricks on Twitter and made an article out of it, and that's not really journalism. Everyone who uses Twitter knows it's jam-packed full of bellends, and like, you've got to, you know, sometimes it's easier than other times to deal with that. I'm personally pissed off by some shit I get on there at times and on here, but you know, this is life on the internet, isn't it? I guess you put your stuff out there, people think they can say what the fuck they like back to you, but they don't say it to your face, do they? The fucking shit houses.
But Alisson, yeah, look, we're not worried, and you know, three clean sheets. I think Klopp said after the game as well, he was happy that he's got the blunder out of the way early and that it hasn't cost us any points. And that's the thing to sort of think about. It hasn't cost us any points.
No, yeah, we've won.
We've won every game so far. And even, like, I didn't think we were particularly good at the weekend. Like, Firmino gets his first goal, which is a huge positive. That's a bit of a weight lifted off his shoulders. Mane 4 and 4 looks the business. Defensively, I don't think it's been talked about in the wider media enough. How solid we've been defensively, how few chances other teams are getting against us. Like, Alisson's had to make a few saves, but none of them have. You know, there's been no defensive errors, and it's from our back four, and they look good. So I think that's a huge positive, and it's something that we haven't been able to say about Liverpool sides over the past sort of decade, really.
Well, there's some interesting stats kicking around, and we're gonna delve deep into Liverpool's performance against Leicester, both on the second look video, which will be out tomorrow, also on the free show, free podcast that's going to be out later today, and then there will be the review on Tour Player as well. So there'll be loads of analysis of that, but there are plenty of things that point towards, in general, Liverpool are much more solid than they once were, and there's lots of reason to be positive that, you know, when the front three do click, when the midfield does click, when we have a day where everything's on it, then we can still blow sides away. But the real positive for me is that, you know, we've played 4 games now, not played that well across all of them, really. And here we are, top of the league, 12 points. I mean, you know, one thing for me as well is that, you know, you watched Tottenham yesterday and they get bullied at Watford and they get beat, which was fantastic to watch. And I just thought this is what I've seen Liverpool do that so many times. And yet here we are, having tackled a couple of trickier ways in Palace and Leicester, 12 points, more than happy with that. So let's all be positive about it. And I'm not saying, by the way, speaking of Bella in comments, you're not. Someone goes, you're not allowed to be negative. You can do what you like. Just try not to, you know, throw personal abuse around and that.
I think as well, like Klopp referenced that in his one of his post-match interviews. He said that, you know, you can't just beat teams 4-0 every week. There's gonna be these kind of games, and he's more confident off the back of games like Palace, even like last week and Leicester, that, you know, the team have that sort of mentality that they're able to hold on even whenever it feels as if maybe they're going to be up against it. Because it's like what you said. It's especially in the past, at times it's felt that, you know, this Liverpool team could go 2-0 up and then get pegged back 1, and it's just backs against the wall, and you're just thinking, you know what, there's a goal coming here. And at not one stage in that game did I think that they were gonna equalise.
They had one shot in the last half an hour of the game.
Because defensively we were solid.
It's not like it was the Alamo where they were all over us and you were like, you know. I mean, I think, to be honest, Trent volleying the ball into Chilwell's balls did us a big favour, because it took a lot of the momentum out of Leicester, I thought. So
even little moments like Milner went down for a bit, and he was just going down because he thought, right, I'm just going to calm things down here. Went down, didn't need the physio to come on. He just sort of stayed down. Ref come over to him. He said, "Yep, get up." Just that's intelligence from him. So yeah, loads to be positive about, and certainly not worried about the goalkeeper.
Well, lots of Anfield rappers went to Leicester on the famous bus that we went to Kiev on. They survived. I believe the air conditioning worked this time, and I was even hearing reports that it's overrated. But anyway, they did do a post-match show from Leicester on the way back. So here's a clip of that. Have a look.
On that level, Dejan, the big dog, gets nowhere near that.
If you were watching that game in isolation, you would say he's the better defender out of Van Dijk and him, and you can't.
Trent.
And out of everyone on the pitch, and you can't give any better praise than that, because Van Dijk's one of the best centre halves in the world. And he had a shaky 10 minutes. I thought he gave the ball away a few times. But other than that, he didn't do nothing wrong. He was probably our second best player. But Gomez was flawless. He was fantastic.
It's a performance which Kiva will, Rob's mentioning there, with Lovren coming back. But it's a performance that sort of, you get the impression now, there'll be a lot of people in the dressing room who may well be getting a bit of a telling off from the manager. He'll be made up, delighted with the result like we all are. But either today, on the video analysis, etc., everyone's going to find out what they did wrong. Joe Gomez isn't. Joe Gomez is going to be told what he did right.
So a little taster of the post-match podcast there. There is also a post-match video. You should be getting on these by now, plugging away enough. But there is a post-match video called The Post-Match Pint, which this time around we did from Motel. And it felt like a decent enough show. The feedback on it's been good. So if you haven't watched that one yet, give that a go. But yeah, I mean, international break now. It's brilliant for me that we're top of the tree going into this, because it's always a bit shit that they have one now, because it feels like just as you're getting going, they throw this crap in. And, you know, we talked about international football before. I know it's for you because you go and stuff and you like it. It's not for me.
No, but
what am I doing kicking around watching England? Nah.
No, you say that. I don't like watching any other international football, but like Northern Ireland, but even still this time feels like a bit of a dead rubber because it's that UEFA Nations League or whatever, which I don't understand, I don't get, and I'm not one bit excited for. So if it was qualifiers for the Euros, I'd be looking forward to watching my national team. But this time round, it's especially because Liverpool looks so good, and you just want to. I said it on one of the previous Talking Reds. You just want to watch them again. You just want when's the next game? But
what you're doing now is there's a big list kicking about there of all our players who are going out on international duty and playing a couple of games, and so now it's just the old chestnut of praying that they don't get injured. And I heard Klopp say something similar in his match of the day interview where he basically said, I really hope they all come back without injury.
As well, I'm trying to get a positive spin on it and think like some of the likes of Bobby Firmino just hasn't really looked at that level yet. Someone like Fabinho, who we haven't seen play because Klopp's given him more time to get up to speed. If they get a game for Brazil, then happy days. That's another game under their belt.
Fabinho might be getting a game at right back apparently, which is mad, isn't it?
That is mad.
He's played there before, but what I mean is that, if Klopp's got him at Melwood, trying to prep him for playing in midfield, and then he goes away with Brazil and plays right back.
Oh yeah, he was on the list of defenders actually for Brazil. But yeah, I just hopefully if someone like him can get a bit of a game away with Brazil, and I'll bring him up to speed a little bit quicker. That's me trying to think of it positively. I'm just praying everything crossed that everyone comes home safely without any injuries.
The other good thing about the Leicester win, by the way, is that Liverpool's record in half-12 kickoffs is not the best, and you've heard the manager talk in the past about how he doesn't really like them, how he doesn't feel like it fits in with his prep. I think he basically said once as well that he always feels hungry when he's watching.
He mentioned it in our like when you lads interviewed him, he mentioned exactly the same. He said nobody wants to watch football at 12:30. 5's better, 3's better, but 12:30 you're only waking up. You've only just eaten breakfast. Like, I imagine it's the same for the. I think actually Trent in the interview. I'm not plugging on purpose here, but I think Trent said as well on one of our interviews. He said that it's weird because you have to eat really early, and it's not natural for them.
Well, the next game is, of course, a 12:30 when we get back after the international break. 15th of September. Seems like an absolute age away, but Tottenham away at Wembley. And yeah, just a mad period of games from there on in, and this is going to sort of really define where we're at. Lots of people, aren't sure because of Liverpool's form. Other people are being more positive about it because because we've done so well in terms of points. But yeah, Tottenham away, PSG at home in the Champions League, Southampton at home, Chelsea at home in the League Cup, Chelsea away in the league. So that's going to be an interesting period of time. But all this sort of bedwetting about Fabinho and not getting a game and have we wasted money and all this kind of stuff, he's playing in those games. He's getting a go there somewhere along the line. So I sort of think we needn't worry about that, especially when you've seen previously Robertson took some time to bed in.
Oxlade-Chamberlain as well. He's done this on purpose. He's, you look at someone like Fred at United, who I've watched. I didn't watch their game at the weekend, but I watched their first few games, and he didn't really look up to speed. He didn't look up to much, and I think that there's always that danger with someone like Fabinho. If you throw him in, he's not used to it, and Klopp will know best. Klopp will be watching him every day. He looked pretty good in pre-season, but I think you just rather wait rather than just throw him in straight away. But you're right, like some of these games like that, even once you get past the Spurs, the PSG and the two Chelseas, you've got Napoli away, Man City at home, Red Star, and then Arsenal away eventually. So there's going to be loads of games that they're going to get games. They're going to have to. That I don't know what it's called anymore. League Cup game, Carabao Cup. That Carabao Cup game, you'd imagine he's resting quite a few of the lads, like someone like Curtis Jones. Does he maybe get a chance? But yeah.
You can tell as well, I think that sort of, I've been desperate personally to see Shaqiri get on the pitch, and I thought in his little cameo he did all right.
Brilliant,
there.
yeah.
He was great at sort of keeping the ball in the corner. He looked hungry, looked like he was prepared to run at people, looked like he was ready to go. He was getting involved, and I kind of quite like the idea of seeing him getting a start sometimes soon. You got Sturridge kicking around, he looked so good in pre-season, scored within seconds when he did get on the pitch the other week as well. So, there's players there who look ready to go. I know lots of people aren't his biggest fan, on, but even someone like Moreno, the manager's been saying he's been doing really well in training, but he's just got nowhere near it because Robertson's been fantastic. I actually thought Robertson, by the way, was one of the players that did well against Leicester. Obviously, he's key to Mane's goal, but he's just a player that just keeps on going him and getting forward, getting stuck in. I think he's right up there in terms of statistics for a left-back in the league now, and rightly so. So, you know, he at some point probably does need a little bit of a break, maybe after the League Cup game or whatever, but he needs a little bit of a breather somewhere along the way. I don't quite know what does Scotland do. I might be putting you on the spot here, but the only reason I'm saying
Tierney?
is... Yeah, because Tierney's boss, isn't he?
I don't know.
And like you've got him and Robertson. What happens there?
I know I saw someone tweet, was it maybe Si Hughes who'd said on Twitter, it's almost unfortunate that they've got their two best players are in the same position. They must shoehorn them both on. I think maybe, is it Tierney plays at right back? I don't know. I can't even remember.
Put you on the spot there.
No, you did. But yeah, I think on Shaqiri, just to go back to Shaqiri, whenever he come on, what he looks like is he looks like, you know those little toys that you like wind up and then you just let them go, mad. Every time he comes on, he's just like, you can see just how like sort of he's dying to get onto the pitch, isn't he? And I thought he was really good. He didn't lose the ball once. He made things happen. He won a really good free kick. Leicester fans were giving him abuse, calling him fat and all of that, and he just won't care. He'll not care one bit. So he's one of the players I'm most excited to see. Definitely.
Viva the Power Cube.
He is he's so strange, isn't he? He's just every time you see him, it still surprises you how strange he looks. But I think over the coming sort of 2 or 3 months, we're going to see exactly why Klopp went for Shaqiri, really.
A few other bits down there. Sadio Mane has won Player of the Month award. Obviously 4 goals, so he's top of the goal scoring chart. He's been in general, you know, contributing quite a lot as well. He's top of a few of the other statistical charts if you take a look. So, you know, he's been causing teams problems. Obviously gets another goal at the weekend there as well. So yeah, you know, fantastic that he's winning awards. Always a nice thing.
I haven't given you much there on the agenda, by the way.
No,
it
you
says
haven't really, have
Sadio Mane, Player of the Month, and then the dashes underneath are August and 4 and 4.
Cheers, mate. Up to that. So yeah, moving swiftly on, he says that Craig's also put on the agenda that Trent Alexander-Arnold is in the running for Europe's Golden Boy Award.
I haven't made this up, right? Never
heard of it?
No, Raheem Sterling won it in 2014 whenever he was with us, and I think Mbappe won it last year. Previous winners are Messi, Rooney. I think it's something that was started by, is it Tutu Sport in Italy? No, I'm not going to do it again. But basically, it's basically the major newspapers in each country. So. It's voted for by the likes of the Times, Bild, Marca, L'Equipe, and Tutu Sport, Abola. All of these newspapers. So yeah. I don't think we should have done that one, to be honest. Next one, Markovic still hasn't left.
Can't be arsed with Markovic. Honestly,
what's he doing? Why is he still here?
I don't know, but I've had enough of him. I just think, I even found the gif of when he. I think I made it. I made a gif. I was dead made up with myself of when he hit the bar against Sunderland and Conor Wickham does the thing. And I was like, you know, we'll always have that special memory. And I lashed it out saying, I believe Markovic is off, and then he hasn't gone. And it's just like, Ken hell, lad. Well,
that's what sort of surprised me, is that if I was him, I'd be thinking, right, I need out. I know. I'm sure he's on a nice wage, but he's hardly played football for the last sort of 4 years. When he's went on loan, he's hardly played at the team. I think his best spell was at Hull under Marco Silva, and you know. Yeah, apart from that, he hasn't really... he was on loan at Anderlecht last year, and I think he scores 1 goal in 13, 14 appearances. Now, they obviously had seen enough from him that they wanted to sort of try and convince him back, but their manager said the president and sports director did everything to convince him. They waited until Liverpool lowered the price. They almost did a crazy effort for the player, but it wasn't enough. It's his own fault that the deal fell through. He just didn't fancy it, Anderlecht, did he? And then he's just decided, I'm going to just
play table tennis.
Play table tennis.
For another 6 months.
Go to training for a bit, and then just left a nice wage. He must be one of the worst signings we've ever made. He honestly must be. Do you not think?
Well, I'm just thinking. I mean, yeah, he hasn't.
The money at the time, that was a considerable fee at the time.
As soon as you say that phrase, I think Nicky Tanner, you see. So
before my time.
Yeah, you did well not watching it. Listen, anyway, there's going to be loads of Anfield Rap content out there, video and podcast. Get stuck in, writing on the website as well, all the stuff you want. And you know, we're in all the usual places as well, social media wise. If you want to give us a push, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course the comments below. I always read them, and thanks for the complex about that I've put some weight on. Love that, thanks guys. And yeah, off the fucking rants. Love the Anfield Rap, mate.
Happy Monday.